Before I start this video, I want to say thank you so much for 10,000 subscribers. My channel has gone through so many changes. The majority of you guys subscribed when I was doing military videos, and then y'all stopped watching when I started posting nursing videos, and then new people started watching. Those people stopped watching when I started uploading flight attendant videos. So I know that my subscriber count and my view count, like, it's all everywhere, and I know that a lot of you guys won't even see this, but it's fine. I just want to say thank you so much, because at the end of the day, 10,000 people saw something in me and decided that they wanted to see more, and I thank you so much. This obviously isn't about the numbers and money and all that, because there's no amount of money that could make up for the feeling when I get a really good comment when I've had a really bad day, and I don't want to get too emotional. Thank you so much. All right, let's get into the video. Hey y'all, it's Charlie. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. As you can tell by the title, today I'm going to be doing a video all about my first 6 months as a flight attendant. So let's start from the beginning. I applied on July 29th of 2021. I had my face-to-face interview on August the 19th of 2021, and I got my CJO right there on the spot. I honestly, throughout the interview, I was pretty confident that I was going to get it. I had a really good resume, and I just went in there like I owned it, and I ended up getting the CJO, which is very exciting. I remember the exact moment when they told us, and it was all up from there. So then I left for training on September 20th and graduated on October the 18th. Now let's go back to the real beginning, is why I actually decided to become a flight attendant in the first place. So why I applied. I don't want to say I fell out of love with nursing at this time, but I was just at a really low point in my life. And like I said, it was 2020. Being in the hospital was a lot. Like a lot. And I was still in school. I was trying to work on multiple degrees at once. I was in this program that was going to allow me to become a nurse practitioner a lot sooner than I would if I was in a regular program. It was just, I was doing a lot, and I was putting a lot of pressure on myself, and you know, the world was literally going crazy around me, and I had a mental breakdown, would be a nice way to put it, I guess. Okay, so the reason why I initially applied, it was really on a whim, and I kind of do that a lot, especially when I'm not in the best mental space. I just wake up one morning and say, I want to do something different, this is what I'm going to do, and that's pretty much how I joined the military, now that I think about it. I was looking for jobs that went well with all of my experience. Like I said, I was into nursing, and I loved customer service, and I was doing a military job at the time that was customer service based, and I was just looking online for any type of fun customer service jobs, and I thought I was going to lean towards going back to college and getting a degree in like journalism or communications and just being like an on-air personality, like news or something like that, or journalism, reporters, you know, that type of thing. Between all my search of like communication and people-based jobs, I ended up finding an ad for being a flight attendant, and I was like, okay, this might be fun. Years ago, like maybe 4 years ago, I fell in love with watching Ashley Smith TV here on YouTube. I loved her videos, and I was like, if I didn't want to be a nurse, I would always want to be a flight attendant. I used to say that all the time, and I just completely forgot about it because I was like so focused on being a nurse and being a nurse practitioner, and I already know what I want to do for the rest of my life, so there's no point of looking into any other jobs, and here I am. So then I applied. When I was applying,
I know my battery's not with the job right now.
Okay, if anything looks a little different, it's because my camera died, so it's a little bit later. Hopefully the lighting's okay. Alright, don't exactly remember where I was, but I'm pretty sure I was talking about my application process and what made me decide to become a flight attendant. So, long story short, I was looking for customer service-based jobs, and I was just having such a hard time mentally that I really just wanted a job that was fun. So when I was applying, there were only regionals that were hiring. So let's skip training. Training was super fun. I thought it was easy. I didn't have any trouble with the tests at all. All of the studying that I did, like with my classmates and everything, I only did it because all of my friends were there, and you know, just to be a team player. I honestly didn't have to study very hard for the tests at training at all. I ended up making some really good friends though, and I honestly, like, if I could relive training again, I would. So during training, I had a choice of 3 bases. There was Dallas, Chicago, and Miami. I ended up picking Dallas. I ended up loving Dallas, and this is really the meat of the video that I wanted to get into. Finding somewhere to live. If you guys watch my channel, y'all know I struggled. I ended up finding this crash pad. Everything was gonna work out great. She said she was gonna charge me a little bit extra to move in early because I graduated on like the 18th and I couldn't wait until the first day of the month to move in, so I paid a little extra, moved in. The water wasn't working, the lights weren't on half the time, the people there were just like, I already didn't like the crash pad owner and I didn't know why until now. Oh, and it was just awful at first, but it ended up getting better. The water started working, I was able to shower, that was fun. And then the eviction notice came. No, I wasn't getting evicted. The crash pad owner was getting evicted, which means I was getting evicted. There was so much drama and toxicity in that crash pad. It was completely awful. I could do a whole story time about that crash pad, but people there were just awful to each other, and it was honestly worse than college and basic training. I lived with 39 other girls in Air Force basic training, and it was nothing like living with the 15 people in this crash pad. It was awful. The owner was awful. I was sleeping in hotels, paying for hotels just so I wouldn't have to stay there. It was just like Bad Girls Club. If you ever watched that show, it was like that in this crash pad, and they're not all like that because I ended up finding a wonderful crash pad. So since I was spending my money and using my commuter hotels just to get away from the crash pad, and then that started adding up really, really quick because we're gonna start talking about flight attendant pay in a minute, I ended up sleeping in the airport. A lot of people didn't know. The only people who knew were people I told about it. And then I got some really creepy vibes from a janitor, and I decided not to sleep there anymore, just because it's one thing to sleep there when you have to one night, but if you do it repeatedly and people start to notice, people you're starting to feel creepy about, like, they're gonna know exactly where to find you, and that's not safe. So yeah, if y'all want a whole story time about my crash pad experience, that's that. I think that sums up pretty much my first 2 months as a flight attendant, was homelessness and trying to get out of that crash pad situation. But other than that, living in the airport was kind of fun. I wish I would have been able to record more of it, but I didn't want like my manager finding out and like, girl, why are you living here? So yeah, I lived in the airport temporarily. I was looking for apartments, searching, never ended up finding one that was a good fit, which is probably for the best looking back at it now, because I do not think I'm gonna be in Dallas much longer. And I actually ended up finding a crash pad that I loved. Next, we're gonna talk about pay. At the beginning of this video, I said I wanted to be a flight attendant for fun. I just needed a fun, stress-free job, and I knew I was gonna be taking a pay cut. So the company started off at $19.50 a flight hour, which is just when you're in the air. It's like $2 when you're on the ground. So I definitely knew I was taking a pay cut, and I did decently with budgeting. I also got offered a sign-on bonus that I didn't know about when I first picked the airline. I didn't find out about it until after training, actually. And I was given maybe like $2,000. I would have to pay some of that back if I don't stay with the airline for over a year. Like, there's just stipulations with how much you have to give back, but that made up for the loss of pay. And like I said, I was doing it completely for fun anyways. I didn't mind the pay cut, because if I wanted the money, I would just stick to nursing. So the actual job is probably the best job in the world. I don't know if this is what I'm going to be doing forever, but I can't imagine not doing it. And I love that for me. When I say that I miss nursing, I miss my patients, I miss being in the hospital, I miss my coworkers, and I miss just being in that environment. But do I actually miss my day-to-day job? I don't. And it took me a while to be able to realize that. But now that I'm taking a little time off for being a flight attendant, I have military orders starting in a couple days, so like I haven't been working as a flight attendant for like this week. I miss it. I miss being in the air so much, and it feels good to say that, to have a job that's so much fun. The layovers, even the boring layovers, this lifestyle is something that you can get addicted to so quick. And I love that I love my job, and it makes me know, like, in this point of my life, this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. Now, the parts of the job that aren't that fun. And I do have a video coming up soon about the pros and cons of being a flight attendant, because there are definitely some cons. So let's talk about a little bit of that. The actual job itself is fun. It's the extra stuff on top of it that makes it not as enjoyable. Such as commuting. Being a commuter is a part-time job in itself. Dealing with management, sometimes they can just get on your back when things aren't even your fault. You get blamed for a lot as a flight attendant. Gauge agents blame you, the pilots can blame you, everyone's blaming you, the passengers blame you. I was working this flight and it got delayed. And as soon as we landed, when someone was exiting the aircraft, they said, "Thanks for making us late." Like it was me, like it was my fault that we were late. So yeah. That type of stuff, dealing with pay, making sure that you get paid correctly, can definitely be a hassle. And dealing with crew scheduling, making sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do by your contract, because if you're not going to check your contract, they're not going to check it for you. They want you to work. They don't care that they're breaking your contract. They don't care that you're working your 7th day and they still put you on the schedule for another day. They want you to work 8 days in a row. They don't care that that's 2 days above your contract. They don't care that you've been working since 3 this morning and they have you working till 12 at night and then you have a 4 a.m. wake up call. They don't care. But you have to know your schedule. You have to know your contract. And that, like I said about commuting, is another job in itself. It's those type of things that make it not as enjoyable. I actually haven't had any terrible passengers. I had a couple of issues, but nothing severe. I haven't got punched in the face, so that's good. Okay, so another thing I wanted to say is all of my friends that I graduated with. There's probably about 20 of us left, and I would say at least 5 of us are leaving really soon. Like, I already have CJOs to different airlines, to different mainline airlines, and leaving the company. I want to tell you guys, stick it out at least 4 months. I would say try to make it to the 6-month point, but 6 months is a very long time and I completely get it. But people who leave like month 2, month 3, like, I think that you should just give it a little bit more time, because this is a job that's really rewarding after you get your feet wet, after you get, like, you have to get into the daily routine of being a flight attendant. Because if you leave just because you can't adapt, then you're not giving yourself a fair enough shake. It will be hard. It is a hard life to adjust to, but once you get into it, it's wonderful. Like I said, there's definitely its ups and downs, pros and cons and all of that, but once you really give it a fair shot and get used to it, especially like if you get a line or something. People at my airline are getting lines at like 5 months. After you get that line, I promise you, things are gonna get a lot better. So just give it a fair shot. If you truly don't think you can do it, or if it's weighing down too much on your mental health, stop, quit. Because there's definitely times where I talk to my friends about quitting, and I'm just gonna be honest with you. Not knowing where I was gonna live, that's probably my only reason for wanting to quit. Not knowing where I was gonna live. Just different outside factors. You're away from your family. There's so many different things that can make you want to quit. And if you truly miss your family that much, that's not worth risking. Because family is the most important thing that we have here on this earth, in my personal opinion. So if, like, there's certain things that are worth leaving the job for, and there's certain things that I just think aren't. But I would say if you just don't know if it's for you, just give it a fair shot. Try to make it to that 4-month mark if you can't make it to 6. Just don't leave after like 2 months, because that's not fair. That's not fair to you. You can do it, I promise you, and it'll be worth it. And if it's not, then hey, you tried. Okay, now I want to talk about my company a little bit. This company isn't for me. I don't agree. This is really hard to tap dance around what I'm trying to say. I just don't see myself being with this airline long term. I never thought that I was gonna be with the regional long term, but I could last a year at a regional. I can't last a year at this regional. Not saying that it's not an amazing airline. So many different, it's really hard to say what I want to say and not face repercussions. But I would just say, do a lot of research into your airline and the happiness of people there. Maybe cut that out. Maybe cut that out, yeah. All I'm gonna say is my airline is not for me. I might do a video in the future about why I think that this airline isn't for me. I don't think right now is the right time to do that, but I will definitely do it in the future. I think I hit on most of the things that I want to talk about, and just for the probation aspect of it, there's so many little things that you're not allowed to do while on probation. That's one thing I need to talk about. Me losing my crap. Oh my gosh. You guys, on the plane, I'm the perfect flight attendant. Off the plane, I'm a hot mess. I don't know what it is or what I was going through towards like the 2-3 month mark. Like I was telling y'all about that first month to the 3-month mark where I was just a whole entire hot mess. But I was losing everything, like required items, having to borrow from the flight office because I couldn't keep up with everything. I think that all stemmed from not having a place to live or a place to call my own, a place to put all my crap, because when I'm in Texas and my stuff's in Alabama, that's a problem. I just think wherever I go next, if I switch different airlines or just try to find a different base, I'm getting an apartment there. I think that's gonna be the best move for me, because that was added stress. If I didn't have to commute, my journey as a flight attendant so far these first 6 months would be perfect. And I truly, truly believe that. If I never had to enter that first crash pad that made me want to find a different job altogether, like I can deal with the low pay. I can deal with a couple of passengers here and there that just aren't having a good day. But I hate being a commuter. I hate it. Since it seems like it's getting a little negative, I want to throw in some good things. Like I said, I met some of my absolute best friends, like people who I genuinely love. And I'm not one of those people who invite people into my actual personal life that easy, which I know you're probably like, girl, you post on YouTube about your life all the time. But like my true personal life, I don't let people in that much at all. But I found people through this job that I truly love and care about. Also, I love my passengers most of the time. Like I love talking to them, connecting to them. The sweet old ladies who it's like their first time flying, hearing about how they have to go see their sister that they hadn't seen in 30 years, or people getting out of jail and going home. Like I love talking to these people. And my favorite part is my little bitty unaccompanied minors, talking to them. Love it. Especially those little kids that talk a little too much. I love that. So yeah guys, I really truly love this job. Like talking to the people, it just makes my whole entire day. To add this clip right here, I complain about boring layovers on my channel. I failed to mention that I'm mostly flying on the 145 aircraft, which means it goes to smaller cities. There are some amazing layovers being a regional flight attendant, and I just didn't get to experience them in my first 6 months working at the airline that I'm working for, because that 175 goes to, first off, different countries that the 145 does not go to, and it leaves the state of Texas, because on the 145 I'm usually in Texas and all of that. So I shouldn't have ever said that my layovers are boring all the time when I'm not getting on the trips that could be more interesting. So I do not want anyone to think that regional flight attendant life is completely boring with full of boring layovers, because it's not true. Also, I had called Garden City, Kansas boring, and the mayor of Garden City, Kansas emailed me, ma'am, I'm sorry. I'm sure your city's great. I didn't see what's so great about it, but all I did was walk to Target when I was there, so I apologize. Alright, let's get back into the video. Okay, for this last part of the video, I just want to talk about some things that I wish I would have done differently and what I'm going to do differently moving forward. I wish that I would have traveled more outside of work. I wish that I would have got on more non-rail flights. I've been doing a lot more flying here lately. I've been doing just because trips to Austin because I love Austin. I went to Philly with one of my friends, Chris. I actually went to Barcelona, Spain, and just didn't vlog it because I needed a break from vlogging at the time. And you guys, I just wish I would have done more of that, and I'm definitely gonna do more of that in the future. But of course, a lot of that is due to budgeting, and that's another thing that I wish I would have done better. As a regional flight attendant, you really have to budget your money well, and I think that I could have done a lot better at that because I was spending, you know, my money on my Crashpad and Ubers because I didn't have my car in Texas, and eating out a lot, especially in the airport, which brings me to the next thing that I wish I would have done differently. I wish that I would not eat as much. I have gained a lot of weight since becoming a flight attendant, and now I'm struggling to lose the weight. I would never ever tell someone not to enjoy your layovers and eat out there, because you should. You absolutely should, 100%. It's the eating all the expensive airport food that really did me in, because our McDonald's was literally, you could see it from the crew room. I have so many McDonald's reward points built up. I didn't even know they had reward points. Going forward, I'm definitely gonna work out more on my layovers instead of just laying in bed playing Sims. I'm going to go to the gym and make better eating decisions. And I'm just trying to overall be a better flight attendant with keeping up with my stuff and being on top of it. I've been doing a lot better these last couple of months. I think I was just in a new hire rut at the time, and like I said, I was struggling with somewhere to live, so I kept leaving my stuff literally everywhere. At one point, it wasn't even in the same country as me. But that's another story for another day. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Thank you again for 10,000 subscribers. I appreciate it so much. If you made it this far in the video, let's leave any red emoji down in the comment section. Leave some comments on videos you want to see me do next. And y'all have a blessed day. Thanks for watching.